MGM, The Lion Roaring, that's big movies. I grew up on big movies like that. I'm Sylvia Anderson, and I played the voice of Lady Penelope, and I produced and helped create the two movies directed by David Lane.
Hello there, I'm David Lane, and I directed both of the two movies, Thunderbirds I Go and Thunderbirds 6. And to all you Thunderbirds fans, we're going to reminisce and remember everything that happened during the making of these wonderful films. When this music comes on, everybody in the house would turn to the television because it was so individual, it was so powerful that it just stopped everything.
Well, Barry Gray was a brilliant composer, and this was right up his street. And I think he had the chance to have a huge orchestra and a budget. 70-piece orchestra.
70-piece orchestra recorded at Denham Studios.
Absolutely, yes.
On the big stage.
Yes, yes.
And when I heard that orchestra strike this theme tune up for the first time, I had goosebumps all over myself. It was sensational.
Well, for you, as the director of this movie, this was the icing on the cake, wasn't it? You know, the dubbing and the music.
All the finishing pieces,
Absolutely.
All the pieces that really bring, and particularly puppets, that bring them to life. Because if you take away the music, take away the dialogue, and they're sitting there, they have no expression and no emotion because
Absolutely.
They can't pull faces. But once you put this kind of music on, and this theme, the Zero X theme, I think is just another Barry Gray sensation. Absolutely sensational.
I agree. And I mean, every movie needs music and every movie needs effects, but particularly the puppets, as you say, David, because there was so much really they couldn't do and various expressions. So all this was really necessary. But we also treated it as a big movie.
But I like to think that the special effects and the puppets complemented one another, because Derek's attention to detail was amazing, to the tiniest little thing about a particular craft, and the attention to detail to the puppets, which I was not aware of at the time. They just turned up on the stage and they were beautifully dressed, beautifully sculpted, you know, the hairstyles, everything. You just took it for granted, but obviously there was yourself and Mary and Christine Glanville behind the scenes presenting these beautiful pieces of work for me to direct.
Well, normally you just have a casting session where you've got actors, but obviously with puppets you've got to create the character from the written page through to the plasticine models, through to the final thing, and that was sometimes a difficult procedure, but we had a brilliant team of sculptors and puppeteers headed by Christine Glanville, Mary Turner, John Brown, John Blundell. They were marvellous, and I know I exasperated them on many occasions when I didn't.
You did me, Sylvia.
Now you tell me. And because I knew I had a vision of what I wanted, and it was very difficult. But we often used well-known characters, James Garner and lots of leading actors as our role models.
You see, this sequence today, if we were shooting this sequence today, it would be the same models, but the camera angles, the pace of the cutting would change dramatically. And it's because there's an emphasis today on speed, powerful cutting.
Yes.
It's when you watch children watching this show, they don't take any notice of that. To them, they're watching every piece of movement, and True. They can actually sit and watch it rather than be bamboozled by it. So I think, even though we would like to go back and say, well, let's sharpen this up, let's do this, let's do that, I don't think it's always a good thing to tamper with something. It's like, this is what it was at this time in filmmaking. And I think it still works extraordinarily well.
I think it's the charm of the whole thing, and the pace matches the puppet movements. If you speed it up, then you're going to have possibly an animation series, cartoon, They tried mixing it at some point, for an American audience, not trusting that the American audience would sit there and watch through this, and I think it was a big mistake.
Yes. See, the very clever thoughts were, the character of the commander. We know we couldn't walk the puppets, but everybody was given a vehicle or a means of transport that overcame the fact that we had to walk the puppets.
Absolutely. I think today you wouldn't be able to walk puppets, let alone then.
Well, immediately they started walking. If you watch any comedy show, the one thing they pick up on is the walking, because the walking is really not allowed with the reality of what you're actually looking at.
Well, Dudley Moore and Peter Cook did a marvellous send-up, didn't they, of Lady Penelope and the Tracy brothers. And one particular one was Lady Penelope trying to get the cigarette into her mouth, Which, of course, we wouldn't be allowed to do that today,
No.
and she did wear a mink coat.
Yes, that wouldn't be allowed either.
No. But at that time...
Definitely not PC.
It wasn't, yeah. We didn't have PC.
Look at this. Fantastic.
That's a fantastic shot.
All this stuff of the...
And smooth.
Yeah. It appears smooth, I can assure you at the time. We had real problems with that.
I think we both know how much we owed to Derek Meddings.
Derek and Bob Bell, the two sides, the art direction and the making of the model.
And the effects. I think, as I say, particularly Derek, because he really worked from scratch. But the crew was wonderful. The whole team worked, and it is a team effort. Any making of a film is a team effort. Of course, you've got the producers and the executives and so on, but you can't manage without one department being brilliant.
Greg Martin? Yes, sir. Space Navigator Brad Newman? Yes, sir. Dr. Grant? Yes.
You see, another thing that I could mention here is this was filmed in Technoscope. Now, the reason it was filmed in Technoscope is for the very sequences we're going to see of the models. Now, with conventional Panavision at that particular time, we couldn't hold the depth of photography for the model sequences. Even though Panavision was very glamorous, we personally, or Derek, couldn't use it because of the depth of field of the cameras at that particular time. So we used this new system that Technicolor had, which was effectively half of a 35mm frame, called Technoscope, which gave you the letterbox glamorous image for the cinema, but you actually use conventional spherical lenses to create it.
Yes, I should make a point
this
here.
This music is just...
David, just interrupting you,
beautiful.
That John Reed, who was one of our original company directors and also the lighting cameraman, he developed the Arrowflex viewfinder that's in use today, which is basically a television screen. Because of the size of the models and the size of the puppets, it was very, very difficult to film in the conventional way.
Yes.
So there were banks of monitors.
Well, very often where
set.
the cameras were, you couldn't get your eye in the camera because it was impossible to get where the camera was.
Exactly.
So you had to have some form of link, and that's where the development came in of video links with conventional film cameras.
And of course, the puppeteers were on a 7-foot bridge operating the puppets. They couldn't even see the puppets' eyes, so they had to have screens so they could see the action.
This whole... I'm not too sure with this whole sequence of whether the build of this spaceship, which I think is superb and shows exactly how the craft would function, whether this came from the script or whether it came from Derek. I'm not really sure.
I
can't remember whether sequentially whether it was pre-thought of in the script.
I think what would happen when we did the script, Gerry and I wrote the original, script, was that we would describe in loose terms the craft,
yes,
and then Derek would come in and discuss it, and then it was really left to his imagination. He worked with Reg Hill as well.
Yes.
So it was interpreting what we put on the written page, rather like I was doing with the characters. Derek was doing with Gerry, with Reg, to get the ultimate.
I remember designing this sequence with Derek because certain things had to be overcome. We would be using different scale models for different shots, so we couldn't show one thing with one model. We had to divide up the whole sequence into different scale models to give us the depth of focus and the power that the shot needed. For instance, the close-up of the engines were done on big sections, so that they had some weight. The wheels are done as separate sections because the little wheels on there would never stand the photography. But every single shot that you're watching here was individually storyboarded. Every single shot was drawn before it was shot by Derek Meddings and myself. And we would sit for hours deciding whether we could do this shot, for instance, with a roller foreground. This foreground is a roller road, and the background is a roller sky. So you have the feeling that one is travelling much faster than the background. So the foreground road is travelling faster than the background sky. And we'd decide whether we wanted that done on there or whether it should be a conventional up and pass shot or over the camera. But every single shot that you see throughout the whole of this in the special effects is a designed shot by us to begin with.
Well, there was great liaison, wasn't there, between you? It had to be, with Derek.
Well, it had to match. All the angles had to match. Everything had to look like one piece of work, even though 7 or 8 units were shooting it.
Well, you'd worked for so many years with us, so you were aware of the way the system worked and the people. And I don't think this wouldn't have worked at all if people didn't work happily together.
No.
I think we had a very happy team.
Well, happy was an understatement.
You wouldn't get it again today.
No, you'd never.
It wouldn't be possible.
The camaraderie that happened on the whole of the Century 2-1 period was exceptional, and it was almost like the original Disney.
Yes, it was a family atmosphere.
Very much so.
Growing together, really.
The Hood here, one of our favourite characters, a real nasty person, and there's a real foot there with a blooded sock, because obviously you can't get a puppet to move like that.
Can I ask you whose foot and whose bloody sock?
Probably John Brown's after a good beating.
Well, Wanda, who later became John's wife, used to do the hand models, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Had pretty hands.
This is where we discover that it is really the Hood.
The villain of the piece.
The villain of the piece, always up to some nasty piece of work.
We had to have a villain in every series we did, didn't we? Titan, remember Titan?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, there was always a chief villain, which I think was terrific, because
it's the black hat, isn't it?
The kids can get hold of him, they get to know the villains as well as it's goodies versus baddies. It's still an old trick that works very, very well.
This is Central Control.
It's the Western, isn't it?
Children love repetition.
Well, they're comfortable.
They never get tired of seeing the launch, because the launch is the start of an adventure. So they look forward to the adventure because the launch preempts it.
That's right. And dads would watch this. You see, this is where we got our sort of kidult label from.
A little story about Zero X is that when we were trying to design the interior of the Zero X, Bob Bell was coming up with different ideas.
The art director.
The art director. And Gerry suggested that we go down to Filton Airport to actually see the building of Concorde.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And we went down to Filton Airport and we flew the simulator of Concorde and saw all the flight deck of Concorde, and the interior of Zero X was built based on Concorde and the type of look at that particular time.
And look how long that's lasted.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think
here's a problem that Derek always had, is water. Water was always a serious problem for Derek, because water has no scale. You can't turn water into a different scale. It's what it is. So to create these oceans was a really tough number for him because of the weight of the wave and the weight of the water.
Yeah.
but I think he achieved it spectacularly in small tanks.
Yes.
Very small tanks. These tanks were only 20 foot by 20 foot. This is shot in Portugal.
Portugal.
It's shot on the,
yes.
on the north coast of Portugal.
Yes. Was that because we had a place there?
It's because you had a place there, Sylvia. And you just got to know Portugal, so you thought
we
the location
got to know
was
Portugal
wonderful.
very well, yes, indeed.
If
yes.
I remember rightly.
With Cliff and the Shadows, that's
Exactly.
how they come into the equation.
He's still there.
I know.
Gentlemen.
This shot here was we couldn't get any higher in the studio on the 1/8 on the true ratio of the picture. You would see both ends of the table.
Yes.
But we actually had a crane in the studio, and we put the set directly under the eave, under the apex of the roof of the studio, so that we could get the crane and the camera right up into the. We were touching. You couldn't get your head into the camera, other than the beam of the studio, and we could just get the whole shot in with the widest angle lens.
Yes, I remember having problems on that scene because in the building and design of the set, I said to Bob Bell and Keith Wilson, I want a 2-color set. Other than the uniforms, I just want a tangerine and black, nothing else. And every time I went on the set, there were other colours. And I said, no, I just want the 2-color thing so that the uniforms just stand out.
Pop out, yeah. You'd have been very good on commercials, Sylvia.
Sorry?
You'd have been very good on commercials.
Oh, yeah, I think I would, actually. Well, sometimes you see a commercial and you don't know what it's all about, do you?
No, but I mean colour.
Colour-wise, yes.
Colour-wise,
yes.
they go very much for colour tone.
Clear cut, yes, that's right. Because this is a very important scene.
Who is the baddie?
Yes.
Which one is it?
Exactly. And I think fans will say, I've seen that face before in another episode or whatever. And it's true, we used to have a rep company.
Well, it was a
of
repertory
puppets.
company.
Exactly.
That's how it was treated.
That's
I think
right.
It's wonderful.
That's right.
They'd appear with a moustache or different colour hair.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with that?
Absolutely.
I have 862 pages.
Like a huge jigsaw puzzle there, doesn't it?
Yes.
Very good shot. Takes us nicely into Tracy Island.
The drama with the piece before the storm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were having such a nice day.
I always dreamt of going to a place like this on my own for a couple of weeks.
After the completion of the film.
Very much so.
Sorry about that, Dave.
Well, Father, takeoff is scheduled for tomorrow morning.
You'll have to make a decision soon, Dad.
Even if it's no.
This is a tough one. I know how you boys feel. I guess you're
Peter
raring to
Dineley
go.
played the voice of Jeff Tracy.
You know we have a strict rule here.
He was a sort of Hemingway lookalike. He was a marvellous voice.
Who was Jeff modelled on?
Jeff was modelled on Bonanza, really. Lorne Green.
Oh, Lorne Green.
Yeah, Lorne Green of Bonanza, the Canadian. In fact, I got a voice later on for one of the characters who played Lorne Green as a voiceover.
Oh, right. And what about, go around the others, who was Gordon?
Gordon was your average, ordinary guy, really. And Scott was Sean Connery, basically. But they were composite faces, but particularly Lorne Green for Jeff Tracy. Anyone old enough to remember Bonanza. Yeah, Alan was, again, a composite face, and he was the baby of the lot and the dreamer.
And the names are all taken from famous astronauts.
Yes, we named them after astronauts because that was just the beginning, really, of the space era.
And I think Thunderbirds fans never get fed up with this sequence. And as I said before, I think it's because it's the beginning of an adventure. You know that an adventure is about to happen when all these boys start doing this thing, the music starts. It's very much like when I used to go to the early Saturday morning pictures, and I remember distinctly there was a series that came on every week called the Thunder Riders, and they came out of a mountain on their horses with skull masks, but you knew. You didn't like to suddenly find them in the forest. They had to come out of this cave because that was the start of the adventure.
Yeah.
And this is what happens with this. It motivates the adventure.
It does, yeah. It's a basic principle, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Set it up, see the ritual, and again, going back to the kidult label that we had, dads loved to watch this as well with the kids.
And don't forget, we see this, we're in the cutting rooms, in the dubbing theatres, we're seeing this every day of our lives when we were making it. But children and an audience are only seeing it once a week.
Absolutely.
So they don't get as tired. We used to think, oh, not that again. But they love it. I mean, I think now stepping back from this after many years, it is exciting when it all happens. It does begin to feel like, yes, we're off, we're going somewhere.
I think later on when we did live action, we were described as people that almost did 2001 every week. Not quite that, but when you think how long Stanley Kubrick would take to shoot sequences and do things, we were on a regular schedule and budget. It was the teamwork, once again. Couldn't have done it any other way.
And I think there was a very, whether the comment was ever true, but I understood that when Stanley Kubrick came over from America to make 2001 A Space Odyssey, he said, I want the people who made Thunderbirds and I want my effects to look as good.
Well, I'll tell you a story about that. He phoned me up when we were filming UFO, and he said, I'd like to meet you and have lunch with you. And I said, well, I've been such an admirer of your work, Mr. Kubrick. I was very, absolutely thrilled. And I said, but there's just one thing. If you want to have lunch to talk about using some of our people, I'm sorry, but it's not on. And I said, do you want to still have lunch? And he said, no.
Okay.
And I said, fine. At least he was honest.
You didn't tell us that, Sylvia. You kept that to yourself.
It's in my book.
But you see that shot where the Thunderbird 2 came toward you, that was one of the major problems. It starts to go out of focus because you're dealing with a very small object, and holding the focus on a small object requires an enormous amount of light, and you just can't pump it out enough for once something goes into shadow.
There are all the problems that people don't quite realise in the making of these pictures. Well, there's Tintin.
Well, you made your decision, Mr. Tracy.
Yes?
I always forget Tintin.
Played by Christine Finn.
And I forget her father and her grandmother.
Yeah, they disappeared kind of early on. Yeah, we tried to build a sort of background with Tintin, and people hinted at a romance between Tintin and Alan.
Oh, right.
But I think she's a little out of time, Tintin. She's the sort of Oriental... they'd call it arm candy now, wouldn't they? Something like that. Dressing.
Dressing. Arm candy. Disco biscuit.
Something like that, yes. Yeah, there she is.
There she is.
Lady P. The idea behind, obviously, the stately home was for the American viewers, actually.
Will that be all, milady?
Here he is.
Thank you, Parker. That will be
She
all.
looks just sensational still.
Milady.
Well, she was modelled by Mary Turner. And there's Wanda's hand coming in.
Wanda's hand pouring.
Yes.
Suit made to fit.
Absolutely. Because this simple...
Riding outfit.
Absolutely. This simple action was impossible for the puppets. Walking through doors or...
And that was the trick, is to tie up very closely what was going on with the real hand with what was going
In
on
the
with the
editing,
puppet. So
yeah, absolutely.
As long as
2 and 3 are on
you
their
made
way.
sure that there was a
I want you to
movement
go to
that
the
carried
States
itself
immediately
through
and
to
Absolutely,
the puppet,
yes.
you believed or accepted, you didn't question.
I think it works
real
here. I've
hand.
seen some episodes where it doesn't work because, again, it was not a fluent sort of movement. But obviously,
Will do, Penny.
by this time, you were
There's a big
very well
press
aware of that,
conference tomorrow
David.
evening. You'll be representing a British magazine.
I was very well aware. I was made to be aware.
Good. Then we did our job.
Exactly.
Here she is coming on the set.
Church
Sylvia's
bells.
going to start
You riding,
criticising.
milady?
Yes, Parker.
Lovely set, that.
Beautiful.
I'll call the airport. We're taking
I
off
tell you,
from
there's
Earth
nothing like
with
this
that
today. There really isn't. Couldn't be done.
But people like Lady Penelope actually exist even today, dwindling numbers in stately homes like that. So that's a
Very
real
much so.
person in
In
a
their own
sense.
world.
In their own world, yes.
Thunderbird 2, from mobile control, you are clear to land.
Mobile control from Thunderbird.
No wires, you see? We cut the tops of their heads off.
Absolutely. Well, we had almost perfected the tungsten wire
We had indeed.
scenario by this time.
And
that
Derek
was-
had done absolutely perfect.
Yes. I mean, that was pioneered in the early days by John Reed and Reg Hill
Yes.
and Gerry on the technical side.
Thunderbird 3 will be in the correct
We
orbit
kept a
on
lot of
the
local
Sabotage
companies
right
busy doing things like that.
here.
And lots of powder companies busy with
Yeah, and the spray,
with
yes,
the
yes.
puffing of the
Trying
powder all over the wires to blend them with the background
so they wouldn't catch the light.
or paint them the right colour so
Yep.
that they match the background.
And in conclusion, as I always say, the only bad publicity is no publicity. So have a good conference, but please be brief. Our astronauts can only spare you half an hour because, as I'm sure you are aware, they have a very busy schedule ahead of them tomorrow.
It'll
Just
be much
as-
sharper.
Well, that's just to remind people that this is not a real show,
Right.
just in case they got carried away.
Real hand.
Real hand coming in
I think this was the least flattering outfit for Lady Penelope.
with the ruffles, yeah.
With,
It was,
with the ruffles. Well, I thought the hairstyle as well was...
well, we like to change the hairstyle from time to time, and all the wigs were made, specially and individually. So she was a lady of fashion, so
Yes.
it gave me a chance, because probably I was wearing something similar at the time.
I remember those ruffles, Sylvia.
There was a problem, obviously, with the costumes because of the movement. They had to be made of special materials, allowing puppet movement. So it wasn't just as simple as just going in and just making them. So the poor wardrobe people had a terrible time.
Captain Paul Travers.
Package from Lady Penelope. Universal mirror, sir.
All right.
This is the key thing.
There'll be 3 crew
The key part.
Right. Right again.
Real hand again.
Yep, 1,400 hours tomorrow.
Little St. Christopher.
That's right. 6 weeks and 2 days. I'm
Now,
afraid
do
I
we
can't
know
answer
that's
that.
got something to do with it, or do we know that's got
I
something
think
to do with it?
we could say that. I think she looks pretty there. I'm sorry,
Yes.
David. I think she looks nice there.
I think it's the hairstyle. I just think. I mean, when you go from the house, where I think she
That's
looks
my writing.
absolutely sensational.
That's my writing.
It's very nice.
It's deteriorated since then, believe me.
I've got a feeling that the takeoff tomorrow is going to be just fine.
He does look like Sean Connery, doesn't he?
No, I think she looks
No.
nice there. It's a nice
Right.
change.
Maybe it was
she looks
my
a bit
awful close-up of
continental.
her.
Yes. No. She is a sort of fashion plate, you see.
Now we're off,
Now we're off. This is Boy's Own Adventure now.
and the boys are ready. We have to make this launch a little bit shorter because we'd already seen it once a few minutes earlier. So we cut down the amount of shots that we used in it. But we needed just enough to make it
That's a beautiful
still
shot.
important. Very.
Beautiful shot.
Okay, Scott, in orbit. I should be able to see 0X as it leaves the Earth.
There's the baby
Unless liftoff time is
and Scott.
There's the elder statesman.
Ah,
And there's our wonderful Rolls Royce.
now when we first approached Rolls-Royce about using the symbol,
Milady?
the model, they were very helpful, but they were very aware of their image And so nowhere in any of our films will you hear us refer to the roller or the Rolls. It's always going to be the Rolls Royce or Fab 1.
And Fab stands for?
Fabulous.
That's all right.
Which was the buzzword of the day.
But FAB, everybody says to me, what does
I
FAB
know.
stand for? And I say, I have no idea.
It's the most asked question.
I know.
And really it was fabulous was the buzzword.
Well,
of the day.
Fab was short for fab. I used to just say fantastic,
Absolutely.
fabulous. You know.
And of course, we developed all the gadgets on Fab 1 to rival Bond, such as the knives coming out of the wheels and skating over water, going up into space even.
Real hand again. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Lady Penelope calling Scott at mobile control.
Oh, what's the trouble, Lady Penelope?
Number 5, negative.
Okay, Penelope, here's what we do. Now, whatever happens, the countdown must continue, otherwise we miss the rendezvous with Thunderbird 3 in space. I'll attend to number 5. Meanwhile, locate Dr. Grant.
FAB.
This is assembly control. Radio control lifting body 2.
We did have problems, in the beginning with Lady Penelope. No one knew what to write for her. But gradually, by the time we made Thunderbirds a go, she had found her
own character.
role, yes.
Yeah. Which is usual. It's one of the things with a television series that the characters that you think that will be the real star stealers suddenly fade into the background, and these odd characters come through, and suddenly the writers are writing more and more for people like the Hood.
Well, don't forget that our team of writers, after Gerry and I had done the initial pilot script and created the characters, the team were men. And they really didn't write for women in those days. So I had to fight a little bit hard for that one.
I think I've located number 5, milady.
That's him, Parker.
See, I think she looks sensational.
Yeah, I know.
when she's
I
got
knew
a
you were
hat.
going to say that, David. Well, she's in her work mode.
Well, because
there.
the features,
Yes.
I like it when the hair is off the face,
Yes.
because the features of the face and the eyes
True.
dominate the shot.
You're absolutely right. You haven't been a sort of hairstylist in part of your career or anything like that, have you?
No.
You're just a good director.
Darling.
Just a good director. Absolutely.
Right, Parker. Away we go.
Well, the low angles were used all the time to create the feeling of volume.
Yes.
But of course, you couldn't avoid seeing underneath the car. When the car comes round the corner, you see the tag underneath the car.
Oh,
Watch this here. You can see the rail.
you're being too critical of your own work there.
Now, you'll find the real Dr. Grant somewhere in this building here.
Right. Airport police, this is assembly control. Search the missile store, block F, immediately, and locate the whereabouts of Dr. Grant. We don't know his condition, but providing he's okay, bring him over to central control immediately.
Roger, Control.
Say, how do you know all this?
A pretty little bird told me.
Takes those mountain roads very well.
Good
Well,
start on this, milady.
The Rolls Royce. is
The
a great
Rolls Royce.
road holder.
Absolutely.
I love this piece. It escapes in the boat.
Well, it becomes a hydrofoil.
Grant.
Just fine.
These are the kind of things that make this work. You see the natural pose of Scott.
That's a good composition,
You know, it's
David.
that kind of thing that you tried desperately
To make it
hard
casual,
to make it
yes,
as casual
yes.
and as normal
Yes,
as possible.
yes.
You spend a lot of time actually posing the
Real
characters.
hand.
Yeah.
So much for the good luck charm given to me by Lady Penelope.
Ooh.
Oh, radio transmitter. Now we know why he was given it.
Absolutely.
Safety belts on, Parker.
See, this is terrific when this goes off because it's a surprise. It's an absolute surprise when
Here
it
we
takes
go.
off.
Wouldn't Rolls-Royce love to produce a car like this?
Yes.
I have to say that...
See, the water here, this was always a major problem. You see the water on the window, at least that helps us tie up the puppets with the special effects.
Yes, absolutely.
We always made lots of effort to try and do that, to make sure everything belonged to one piece.
If only the Rolls-Royce had worked so well on the evening or the night of the premiere at the London Pavilion. It was a life-size mock-up, and Gerry and I got into the car dressed in all our finery, only to find that it absolutely gave up a few yards away and we had to hop into a taxi. So in real life, it didn't really work.
There again, we're trying to get water going past the window to make you believe that the car is part and parcel of the special effects scene.
You've also got a feeling of speed there,
yes.
David.
A little bit more movement would have helped.
Well, no, it's very smooth.
I think the problem
Fab
was,
One.
again, if we'd have given it movement, we'd have had black wires on Lady Penelope's white hat.
Ah, yes.
Mobile control to Thunderbird 2, launching underway. You'd better lift off yourself.
We should have had a black hat, obviously.
Well, it wasn't a funeral. It was the hoods, actually.
Yes. Well, that could...
One of Derek's gunships.
Yes. Look at that.
Yeah. These were difficult, these flying shots, because they had the helicopter blades to contend with, and they were flown on wires, and to turn them and angle them at the same time without cutting the wires that were holding the helicopter was very difficult. Many takes to get this sort of stuff. Turning shots with aircraft were always very difficult then because of the way that they were flown.
Yes.
Now, of course, it's a piece of cake.
Here we go. Hidden weaponry.
The hood gets his comeuppance.
Absolutely. We should have had a scene, as in Bond, where all these gadgets are explained.
This is another piece of film. So this is 2 layers. This is the gun sight shot with a blue screen, and then the special effects shot is inserted into it.
Yes. I think Derek Meddings was having a good time here, don't you?
Yes.
He loved explosions.
Explosions
All the
and
boys.
lots of smoke.
Yes.
It was a very difficult thing with this was that these were shot at high speed, so we were turning the cameras at 125 frames a second, which was about the fastest they could go then. And the difficulty was making sure that the explosion happened as the aircraft hit the water. And when you're turning at 125 frames a second, which is 6 times your normal speed, the eye has to be perfect for timing the explosion. Otherwise, the explosion goes off before it hits the water.
Yes.
Or after it's hit the water, which is too late. So there was, again, many takes to get that right.
Airspeed, Mach 1.2. Rate of ascent, 3,000 feet per minute. All systems are go.
I love this piece of music when it comes in. I like this, and I like the fact that Lady Penelope sees it through the car roof. I always think it's like the endearing moment of the launch.
I'm returning to base. 0X is entering rarefied atmosphere.
And the music starts on cue.
A few minutes, it'll be over to Alan.
They've done their job. They're going home. And Derek and Barry's music just carries you through to the fact that it was a successful mission.
Yes.
Alan, 0X entering rarefied atmosphere. It should be with you in approximately 1 minute. Right, Scott.
This lovely change going through the front cockpit from... Then we had to create going from day through to the different spectrum, colours of the spectrum through to space.
Of course, yes.
And it was very difficult. We did it with a variation of mixing different shots together. Derek shot quite a few shots of different colours, and then the stars gradually appearing, and we dissolved them all through until we got the correct look, which I think was very, very commendable for the time it was done.
Well, it showed meticulous planning and the care that went into
and
all our shots.
We're in the darker blue.
Yes. I think it's because we treated everything as adults.
And Gerry was a stickler for factual things being really correct. It wasn't a case of...
Absolutely.
I mean, he was very up with all the work of the space programs, and he made sure you got it right. All that technical side had to be right, and particularly coming from the Air Force.
But I think the science fiction side of it is always better when it's reality-based,
Yes.
and you're just taking it one step beyond what it is
Well,
at
this
that
at the time hadn't been done, but we knew it was going to be
Yes.
done. It's this kind of thing where you're going through the colours and you gradually go right through to the stars beginning to appear.
Here we go, changing.
Okay, switch in arc jet engine.
Barry's cue.
Mobile control, this is Thunderbird 3. I can see 0X. She's on course and accelerating to 100,000 miles per hour.
Okay, thanks, Alan. You'd better return to base.
FAB.
International Rescue calling 0X. May we offer our congratulations on a superb liftoff. Fortunately, our services were not required, although I can tell you now that a sabotage attempt was made just before liftoff. But we took care of it.
All the little detail, like the gloves.
Yes.
It's like, there's so much work in that.
Also, there's great expression on those faces,
And you
too.
took it, I mean, when they came onto the stage, I took all this for granted. That's what it was.
But it's, again, rather like the effects, the attention to detail.
There's the beast.
Absolutely. Press enclosure. Real hand.
Mobile control from Fab 1. Are we clear?
Hi there, Penelope. All clear. I'm on my own. Well, how'd it go?
F-A-B.
There we go.
Well done, Penelope.
Well, it's been a hectic time for all of us. How about us all getting together tonight over a drink? I hear there's a fab nightclub called the Swinging Star near my hotel.
F-A-B?
Oh, hi there, Penelope. I just happened to be monitoring your frequency, and
Well, what do you say, Virgil? Are you game?
I sure am.
The
Wonderful
scene is
piece of
set.
parking.
The scene is set for a dream sequence.
You're going where?
The Swinging Star, Father. It's
Thought his
kind of nightclub.
his upset face was just a little off.
Yes.
It didn't quite do it, did it?
See, Alan being the baby, we thought he was a perfect foil for this dream sequence. Got the ruffles again,
Well, you got the
David.
rough end- you got the
You got the ruffles again. Yes.
He got the rough end of the stick. He didn't get to go anyway, so he's got to dream his sequence.
Don't forget the costumes. It was the Mary Quant era.
Oh, yes.
In the 60s, so it was
Of
all
course.
ruffles and things.
Yes.
Don't forget, Dad, we'll be at the Swinging Star.
I thought when I wrote The Swinging Star, that was a terribly with it kind of title for a nightclub. But of course, that's kind of dated now,
Back
isn't
here
it?
at base. Just my luck. Say, Tintin.
Get the short straw again, Alan.
Baby again.
Yes.
Would be lovely, Alan. I'll wear my new dress.
What goes on around here? Have you all gone crazy? This is international rescue, remember? We can't leave the base unmanned. Sorry, Tintin.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Tracy. I understand.
See, very
Well,
subservient.
I don't.
She was, yes.
I'm going to bed.
But won't you have some
He
coffee?
used to
Alan?
be a bit
No,
naughty, get a
thanks.
bit ugly.
It keeps me awake.
This is one of my favorite sequences coming up now. It features a dream sequence with Cliff Richard and the Shadows. And what was so marvelous about it, we got to know Cliff and the Shadows when we had a holiday place in Portugal. And we approached them and said, would you agree to write some music for our first feature film? And we'd like to do puppet duplicates of you. And of course that worked beautifully. Our team, John Brown, Mary Turner, Christine Glanville, they did a wonderful job recreating the characters. So it was a perfect thing for us to do. And of course it created a lot of publicity for the film, and I think it just worked beautifully. And of course, it gave us a chance to put Alan in a beautiful outfit, for Fab 1 to go into space, and for Lady Penelope to have a dress that matched. And of course, I had one too, which I wore to the premiere. So it was all a lot of fun. And I think David has directed it beautifully. And of course, we had the shadows and Cliff's music, which was wonderful. I think as in all the best sort of Hollywood musical movies, we kind of recreated a Busby Berkeley sequence.
This was, we used a lot of dry ice here and boxed it all in the studio because dry ice tends to fall to the ground. But it was a perfect foil for hiding the rig that was moving Fab 1.
And of course, when Cliff and the Shadows visited the studio, the puppeteers were just thrilled, and they loved the puppet replicas that they had made. I think particularly Cliff Richard was totally brilliant. The whole thing.
I thought Hank was Hank Marvin. I thought his character and the character of Hank Marvin came out beautifully in that puppet.
Well, Hank, in a sense, was easier to do than Cliff.
Yes, because he had
because
more
he
character.
was more caricature with the glasses, and so on.
And the Buddy Holly look.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I met him in Australia just 4 or 5 years ago. He looks exactly the same.
I know. It's sickening, isn't it?
I know. The swinging star, there it is.
Yeah.
Gee, it's fabulous.
I thought you'd like it.
And of course, Barry Gray did a wonderful music background here.
No parking problem here, my lady.
And of course, there were various size models used here, David.
Yes.
Of Fab 1.
This was the full size, obviously for the puppets, with a rig underneath driving it in. This was.
Now we have our star act.
It's amazing what you can do with a bit of tinsel there.
Absolutely.
And this was a good idea. This again was a colour coordination.
Yes,
thing,
the silver and
we
turquoise.
decided to do everything in black and white.
Yes.
All the characters were painted black and white, with the exception of Cliff,
That's
Lady
right.
Penelope and Alan.
The colour
and
again.
I think the colour again was outstanding.
Well, you see, Penelope and Alan coordinate very well.
You see there.
And see, these characters in the background were actually cutouts, stiffened. Some were cutouts and some were stiffened puppets,
Yes.
because they were of no relevance to the scene at all. They were just there, but the main focus was on our two colourful characters in the foreground.
Yes.
Say, Penelope, how did you enjoy your night here with Scott and Virgil?
Oh, we didn't come to this swinging star.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. This is reserved especially for you.
Oh,
These were terribly difficult sequences to do. Embarrassment was tough number with puppets.
Look at Brian Bennett in the background
Yes.
with the drums.
Christine.
Yes.
I'm sure that was Christine on
Yes.
drums, Christine Glanville. It was Christine. It comes back to me now because we had a problem with the drummer in particular, because the step movement was fairly simple, but the drums were really difficult. And Christine, in all her wisdom and ability, managed to make the whole thing work with just her rather than her and somebody else doing a separate hand movement. And I thought she achieved it wonderfully well.
The lovely thing about Cliff and the Shadows is, in reality, their movements were a little puppet-like. So from the point of view of puppet movement, it was possible. But I think the idea behind the swinging star for me was that I wanted to inject a sequence with glamour, with colour, with music. And of course, we could only do that really in a dream sequence.
We had to get an explosion in somewhere. So we went with Cliff.
Absolutely. And so when you make it a dream sequence, and anything and everything is possible. There's Cliff now playing the part of Parker, and he looks very good in that uniform.
He looks charming, actually, doesn't he?
Absolutely
Prince Charming.
Prince Charming. He hasn't changed at all. And because we knew Cliff and the Shadows very well, we really didn't have to talk them into doing this at all. And here they are on top of Fab 1.
He's identical age to me, and I can't understand why I don't look like him.
I'm not going to comment on that. I couldn't possibly comment on that, David. You look good. But it was just a joy, actually, working the whole thing.
He's fantastic in that close-up there.
Yes. And, I mean, the sculptors had done a marvellous job. Everyone had done a marvellous job. But it was just, to me, we injected some of this 40s musical into an action sequence.
And we shot this in singles because the movement was so difficult to do that it maybe took 2 or 3 puppeteers to actually get one piece right. So if we had too many people in one shot, one of the characters would suffer. So you can see you get a little bit more static when they're in the wide shots. For this reason is that they're very difficult. You can't get somebody underneath holding the body, somebody holding the guitar hand, etc. But this was this guitar that Bob built was quite something. It was huge. It must have been, I would have thought, at least 5 foot long, that guitar, 6 foot long.
I think everyone enjoyed working on this because it was a total change from anything we'd previously done.
Yeah.
And it did give us a chance to be extravagant and glamorous. And I just think it worked really well.
They loved it.
They liked it, yes.
They like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the main thing is that the Cliff and the Shadows approved it. I mean, it could have worked. It could have gone horribly wrong if they hadn't liked it or endorsed it. And they were, let's face it, very big names in those days. So
huge.
Yeah, absolutely huge. And we were thrilled.
Another piece of technology there. That's a huge great arm. That arm must be 3 foot. And the watch must be at least 1 foot across. So we made this up with all the flashing lights, the huge great arm, and then inserted the picture into the watch in post-production.
Yes, it works very well.
Which again is simple today, but then it was everything to do with film was time-consuming.
See, yet another outfit there.
Yes.
I've just got to go.
See, hair off the face, Sylvia.
I remember that.
Thank you, Parker. We don't want to fall back to earth.
Of course, Parker, looking elegant.
Mind the gap, Alan.
Mind the gap. They say that at Piccadilly Circus. Mind the gap.
Here we go. End of the sequence.
Mind the gap, Alan.
I can't possibly make it.
What's the matter, Alan?
See, again, if this was shot today, it would be very fast cutting, big close-ups here. It would be much more powerful, but I think at this time when the kids watch it, they still they don't worry about such things. They just enjoy the moment.
Incidentally, Alan's voice was played by Matt Zimmerman, who was one of the few Americans that I used as voiceovers, and mostly Australians doing the mid-Atlantic voice, but his voice
This we
went very
tried
well.
to shoot in Portugal over an island with a helicopter, and we tried contra-rotating the helicopter down onto the island and dropping from like 5,000 feet and under-cranking. It never worked. We just couldn't go fast enough. And when we did speed up the film, the ocean looked like tiny little waves because it was all flickering.
It sounds to me as if you were having some fun trips to Portugal, David.
Not as funny as
didn't
you
work.
had, Sylvia. You went there for pleasure. I went there for business.
So we're told.
What a life, eh?
Yes.
That's Portugal. That's your Portugal.
Absolutely.
You see?
Absolutely.
You're by the pool.
Absolutely.
It's an idyllic life, isn't it?
Well, we actually wrote...
It's things you...
We wrote Thunderbirds,
you dream
the pilot film, in Portugal. And we were loaned a place by Peter Gormley, who was the Cliff and the Shadows manager. So you can get the connection now, can't
Yes.
you? Absolutely. It's not who you
Wheels
know,
within wheels.
not what you know, it's who you know, absolutely.
Thunderbird 4, at your service.
It never worked.
That's a rare shot, a rare shot.
Oh, he's still miserable. He's
John was here to enjoy the fun.
the young upset lad.
Someone's got a man.
Well, he's just woken up, hasn't he?
He doesn't get a drink either. Not old enough.
This poor fellow is marooned in space. I think he's probably the least recognised, isn't he?
Yes.
Of the brothers. Yeah, yeah,
I would think so.
yeah.
He doesn't get too many starring parts, does he?
Well, his social life's
He's a
not very brilliant up
Really
there.
communications manager.
Absolutely. Real hands again.
Go ahead, John.
Father, I was just listening to the...
Oh, we've got another cutaway with a hole in the table. Everything's turned towards the camera, so the actual drink is made of gelatine,
So it doesn't
so it doesn't fall out of the glass. So the whole table is turned towards the camera.
In space, 0X has safely landed on Mars.
So here we are on the surface of Mars, and another beautiful set created by Derek with the stars, which were extremely difficult to do.
And they're twinkling.
Yes, but the most wonderful thing about this is Barry Gray's score. Now, Barry Gray's score completely underscores this. From the point of view, it's the bass sound was created by probably something like 6 or 8 cellos and basses played all in rhythm, and it was just played on one single chord. And I remember recording it at the studio, and it put the hairs on the back of your neck right up, because it just had this eeriness about it and this emptiness that's been created by the landscape of a total desolate and lonely landscape that had an expectancy about it, that you knew something was going to happen. And it's all there in the underscore of the music. And it's purposely held these shots for some time to create a feeling of slowness.
Well, Dr. Grant, what do you think?
My first thought is to get as many samples back to Earth as possible so that we can look into the whole question of the possibility of life existing on this planet.
Sure, but what's your initial reaction?
I think the atmosphere would be breathable, but too thin to sustain life as we know it. And it looks as if the early Martian photographs are going to prove right, inasmuch as there's no water up here.
And you can tell all this from your instruments, Doctor?
80% instruments, 20% intuition.
I agree with all Dr. Grant has just said, but I've always been fascinated by that phrase, life as we know it. I have a feeling that we may encounter life as we don't know it.
Life as we don't know it.
Yeah, it's a good line, that. Very good.
I think that was Gerry's line, not mine. That's a good shot, because you get the perspective on that,
Yes.
don't you?
Yeah, and it's red.
These strange formations...
Right. Well,
But
we
didn't
couldn't
like red, it
foresee
wasn't dramatic.
everything. We weren't that.
Red's not good for dramatics.
Yeah, Tony, I know it would be all too easy to happen up here. But can you account for the strange formation of those rocks?
Was this MEV, was this the MEV that was used in Captain Scarlet?
Yes, yes, it was. It was. We actually were having toys made, models made. And obviously we were asked by the toy people to exploit and show the models on the screen as much as possible. So that's what we did.
So you then we used this whole model again in Captain Scarlet?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Can we move on?
Sure, Paul. Sorry about that.
You know, at that time, the merchandising was absolutely huge. So, I mean, we were keeping factories going with all the various craft and so on.
And I don't think it's exploitation, because for me, anything that gives you the finances to make film is okay by me. I have no problems with other people making money out of out of what the film exploits. I think it's wrong to say it's just a toy commercial. It's not. It's the fact is it's entertainment, and that gives people the encouragement to invest in programs like this. So I think that's a good thing.
Well, I have to tell you, I was in a supermarket the other day that should be nameless because we're not having them promotion for them, and the cashier said to me, "How is it that I can't buy Tracy Island when I sign my check?" So, I mean, it's still out there. People are still looking.
This Christmas, you won't be able to buy a Tracy Island by the 22nd or even the 20th of December. There will not be one Tracy Island in the shops, I guarantee you. They never build enough. My grandchildren just can't get hold of them. They have to order them, and they're nuts for them. Very destructive, these people, aren't they?
Well, you know, you little boys liked your explosions, as I keep saying.
It's a great underscore, isn't it?
Beautiful.
You just know something's going to happen.
Stanley
And here
Kubrick,
it
eat your
comes.
heart out.
My grandchildren close their eyes when this comes on.
The
They
red
won't watch
eye.
it.
Dr. Pierce, come back in here, quickly!
It's a lovely mood change too, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the swinging star and Tracy Island to this. You've got all the contrasts going here.
It's a veritable army of them.
On every rock.
Zero X from Mev. We're under attack from a form of life we do not understand. Require immediate rendezvous with main body.
I'm just coming around on third orbit. We'll be in rendezvous position in 4 minutes.
Bob Monkhouse.
Okay, Brad, we'll take
Absolutely,
a picture back
yes,
down here. Now,
yes.
your
Good
position.
voice.
Give us liftoff.
Well, you know,
clearance
Bob
the second
Monkhouse
it's
was a really very, very clever writer before he became a sort of game show host. And he was also appearing in the West End, playing an American character, Come Blow Your Horn. And I'd seen him in that and thought, good American voice here, because that's what we were aiming for.
Sharp to starboard, Greg. There's a whole line
So
of
he
them.
took to it like a duck to water. There's no problem
It
there.
was, I remember it. We recorded it at Anvil Studios.
Absolutely, at
Beaconsfield.
Anvil, that's right, yeah. We'd come up a notch since we recorded our programs in a bathroom in,
Yes, exactly.
in a big house.
Okay, Greg. We better return their fire.
This was the big time.
This was the big time, yes, absolutely.
So far, all systems are go.
They look terrific, these puppets. They really do.
Well, they're shot well, I have to say, David.
Zero X from Mev. How are we doing, Brad?
Approaching orbital position. Starting countdown now. Rendezvous liftoff.
That's Bob.
100, 99, 98.
He's a great film buff, I have to say. He knows everything about
I
every
know.
film that's
I
ever
know.
made and has a huge
Yes, he
library
has
of
a
films.
huge library.
Yeah. Had a very interesting
silent movies,
Yes.
everything.
Had a very interesting lunch with him at the White Elephant once. It went on for about 4 hours talking
Yeah.
about movies.
Complete fanatic. The rock snakes were an interesting concept. In the script, I think it was written as a rock-like creature. I think Derek came up with the idea of them actually unfurling like snakes. And when we were storyboarding, I remember that we did the close-up where the head came into shot and drew that up, but it needed another dimension. So I think the putting the light in the eye came out of the storyboarding because we suddenly realized it was just a little bit dull without some form of life. So the light, in actual fact, gave it the form of life that we've been looking for.
I think it typified the way we worked with Derek, that we'd put something down on the page And then Derek would take it from there and work with the director and our team until we got something really magical. And I think that was very typical of the way the whole thing worked, because there was no way we were going into great descriptions of everything. And each member of the team took it up and elaborated on it. And Derek knew more than anyone else.
And put their two penneth in to make it work.
Absolutely.
And all the best ideas were all taken up, and those that weren't good ideas were all rejected. It was very much a team effort.
Well, it was a brainstorming, really, wasn't it, really?
This is interesting, trying to play Paul. I mean, I can't even play it myself, but these characters seem to do quite well. Mind you, there was probably 3 puppeteers operating one puppet to get that ball to even travel that distance.
What size were they, for heaven's sake?
The
Must
balls
have been very minute.
Said,
yes.
Yeah,
third life size.
Yeah.
He reckoned their re-entry into Earth.
That brings me to another point about props. You see, there was nothing we could buy. Everything had to be made. The telephone that Penelope used, any of the gadgets, they all had to be made specially. And we had this wonderful man, Arthur Cripps, who organised the props, and we had a team of people making them specially. So we couldn't purchase anything at all.
Re-entry to Mother Earth.
I guess the only thing that would probably date this movie or anything we made at that time would probably be the size of the instruments. Everything has been reduced in size, but somehow you don't think too much about it.
The serious problem with the instruments is if we'd have reduced the scale to the scale of the puppets, we wouldn't have been able to get enough light behind them to make them glow.
But even so, that was the size they were.
Exactly.
It was what we knew, really, and what people recognised.
Retro firing A-OK. 0X re-entry attitude, correct.
Me doing an American voice.
We were very PC even in those days, Sylvia.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did an American voice.
Lady announcer,
Absolutely. The angels were born out of that, weren't they?
Roger, Central Control.
Nice change to blue.
Retro.
For re-entry, different atmospheres. Getting lighter.
The little puppet looked like a young version of Tony Blackburn.
Radio control over to you in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, over.
Okay, Paul, we've got the lifting bodies under our own radio control now.
Roger.
Rendezvous with lifting bodies at 120,000 feet, 20 seconds.
Good sound effects, too. Sound effects on all these sequences were a real difficult job to do because they were a mixture of... These sounds didn't exist. They were actually built out of maybe 20 or 30 different sounds. And to try and hear the individual sounds of each craft was a fine balancing act for the dubbing mixers.
Well, dubbing is another art form that's often underrated, a bit like editing. I mean, I worked for a while editing, in an editing suite, shall I say, on film. It was the hardest work I've ever done in my life. In the days where you couldn't lose a bit of film because you had to stay behind and find it before you went home.
You had to know where every single frame was.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't, the editor wanted to know why.
Absolutely.
These have a believability all of their own.
Yes.
You know, keep her steady, Skipper.
These are where we use the large sections for very powerful photography.
Radio control failure. I can't hold her.
Wow, now we're in trouble.
What's happened?
Oh, here we go.
Central Control, this is 0X. Emergency. We have lost lift body.
Well, we have to bring in Thunderbirds somewhere.
They've been away for a while.
You won't get away without it.
I'm sending up another lift body immediately.
That won't help us, I'm afraid. The locking gear was damaged in the collision.
Check on all systems. Show fuel systems go. All control systems go. Remote control radio circuits are dead. Escape unit is... Central control from 0X. Escape unit circuits are dead.
Come on, Jeff.
Okay, John, I get the picture. Continue to monitor their frequency.
FAB.
Right.
They were interesting. They were
0X is
those
coming in on
plates, the pictures. We used to lock off the camera, take the photograph out of the picture. We used to use back projection to project the image in, or we used to put blue screen in there and map the character in on a separate piece of film.
That would be easier now, David.
Absolutely.
If you were shooting now, that would be a piece
simple.
of cake.
No need to worry about colour balance.
Absolutely.
Tests from the labs. You just see it and do it.
No blue backgrounds and blue, avoid blue.
No, all that's a thing of the past.
Well, we were the first people to shoot in colour in this country.
Yes.
With Stingray.
I remember it well.
Gerry and I went to the States, saw colour for the first time. And said,
here we go.
That's it.
See, it always gives a feeling that an adventure, we're now off to an adventure. You never get tired of this. It's like the beginnings of what is to come.
Well, that's the pace as well, isn't it? We've had good pace so far in Thunderbirds Ago.
A little slow in places, but that was...
some of the launches maybe could be cut down. Also, when you get guest characters and none of the Thunderbird people, it can be a little slow.
You have to keep those. It's like if you watch a James Bond film, if Bond is off the screen for too long, you begin to miss him.
Exactly.
And I think it applies to all heroes in films. You can't be away from that main body too long.
Also, the guest characters have been made as guest characters.
Yeah.
They haven't had the amount of preparation and development that the main characters have had.
35 minutes, so you'll need to move.
And, of course, all the fans know and love the lead characters.
Absolutely.
It's the lead characters. Each, if you spoke to any fan, they would all have their favourite character.
Well, that was the whole point of having more than one...
We always have a favourite character in it.
That was the whole point in having more than one leading man, as in Bonanza. You take your pick.
Yes, and you can't wait for your character to come on.
That's right. It still meant that some of them were doomed to be lesser characters, as in John up in space, by virtue of where he was.
But nevertheless, I think the characters in this particular craft, 0X, became very, very popular and were beautifully finished to the same level as the lead characters, and their voices were cast in the same manner as the lead characters because they had such an important part in the film.
Well, Paul Maxwell was one of our leading voice artists. He was American, absolute delight to work with, and I think he gave every character the gravitas that we required, and Travis obviously was one of his
Wasn't he
voices.
Steve Zodiac?
He was indeed, yes he was. He played many parts and was absolutely brilliant, and was a natural American too, so he didn't have to put on any accent at all. We had Ray Barrett, of course, who was very big in those days, as he was an Australian and was in the Power Game and was very well known over here.
Well, that was a Sun program, the Power Game. I love that.
Absolutely. I later cast him in one of our movies.
0X. Yes, we can hear you, loud and clear.
0X and Thunderbird 2 from mobile control.
Shane Rimmer.
And Shane Rimmer, of course.
Yes.
American.
Yeah. Canadian.
Was he?
I think so. I think Shane is Canadian.
He's lived over here so long. He's probably Irish-American, I think.
Thunderbird 2.
Roger, Thunderbird 2.
Thunderbird 2 from mobile control. Steer 002. Fly at 45,000 feet. With your present airspeed, you should sight 0X in approximately 4 minutes.
Jeremy Wilkin actually replaced David Holliday in the voice of Virgil. And he went on, actually, to become part of our rep company and to play many other voices. We also were very inclined to use our voice artists from the puppet series in any live-action work that we did, as in UFO, Space 1999, and I think and Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, Doppelganger. I think you will find these names popping up in our cast list, people that have worked hard with us throughout the series and the films.
Switch to automatic pilot and go together with your passengers into the escape unit.
And then pray. In the meantime, take further instructions from the pilot of Thunderbird 2.
Mobile Control, this is 0X. Your instructions have been received and will be complied with. Thanks.
What are they going to do?
Maybe we'll learn more when Thunderbird 2 makes contact with us.
What was the original voice of Virgil?
Michael Holliday.
It's a very good copy, though, isn't it? It's a very good replica of the voice.
Yes, we tried to keep the continuity going with the voice because of the fans.
And he became very. I think he's a very big character in this Virgil. In the whole of the series, I think he.
Do you?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I was going to say, I thought
because of the. Really, because of the popularity of Thunderbird 2, I think the kids love Thunderbird 2.
That's true. That's true.
And I think they associate Virgil with him, so therefore he's become quite popular.
Yes. I would have thought that of the other brothers, that Scott and Alan were probably the most recognisable as characters outside of their vehicles, if you know what I mean. Because we based story. I mean, Scott was the natural leader, really.
Being the elder brother.
Something like that, yes.
Are you sure you want to try this? It sounds mighty dangerous to me.
It is mighty dangerous, and we do want to try it. Now, hold her steady.
This again was a difficult number for Derek because both ships are flown on wires, so one had to pass underneath the other. Both of them actually hung on different sets of wires, so they had to make sure the wires spread the width of the body of 0X, which made it a little bit more difficult to fly.
That's a good shot there, too. And I noticed the wind machine is going to town with the hair.
It looks great.
Yes, looks good.
Good shooting, Gordon. 0X, this is Thunderbird 2, air-to-air rescue compartment. Keep it dead steady. Man coming aboard now. Roger, Thunderbird 2. Okay.
Gordon finally come into his own.
Absolutely, yes. His big moment.
He usually gets left behind, doesn't he?
He does, yes. Gordon and John, I think they're slightly the poor relations there. We did have a backstory, originally for the Tracy characters, with Jeff Tracy's wife being killed in a terrible accident, and then he decided then to set up international rescue. But you can't keep bringing in backstory each time, the writers knew it, and we knew it, so that was really sufficient. But we were often asked those questions.
There's an interesting part here from a story point of view of the making of. The background that you see behind Alan was all originally shot over a landscape in Portugal.
Not Portugal again, David.
Portugal again, Sylvia. It was during the same shoot. A weekend shooting, Sylvia. Go on an aircraft on Friday, shoot Saturday, Sunday, come back on Monday,
David,
be back on the stage at 8 o'clock.
That's different to what I heard about it. I heard something totally different. I'll take your word for it now.
But the high altitude material that we shot was the helicopter was jumping around so much it altered the exposure on the camera. So all of this material that was shot over this weekend of the background plates of the high angle stuff, the very high altitude, had to be scrapped, and everything you see below them now is painted onto cardboard, and the cardboard strips are pulled behind Alan as he's going along to give the illusion of movement.
So in other words, your jaunt in Portugal didn't work at all.
It was a total waste of time.
But you got a wonderful tan when you came back.
In 2 days.
That's all it takes in Portugal.
It's John Brown doing his piece here with the live action hand. Great piece of mechanism. This all turned up in the workshop. All based on.
Yes.
But it worked. It actually worked.
Yes.
But all this background here is painted.
Looks very good.
Works very well for this higher stuff.
Brad, Greg, I'm sending you both back to the escape unit.
Right, sir. Switching to automatic.
I think it was a case of seeing the film on the Tuesday morning, having got back from the shoot, and a total disaster. And I think Reg Hill turned round and said, "Well, we'll paint it, Gerry."
Paint it, yes. I mean, he was a clever artist too.
He was clever. Boy.
At the last moment. I'm sending you two back now, and that's an order.
Yes, sir. Good luck, Paul.
It works.
Yes. And then as we get to the lower level stuff, we managed to salvage the film that we shot.
Yes. Justifying your trip, of course.
Of course.
Are you all in escape unit?
Thunderbird 2 from 0X. All in escape.
This whole sequence here has a mixture of live action, front and back projection plates, full-size live action sets, miniature sets, puppet-size sets, and each one was carefully drawn. Now we're into the real plates. These are real background plates now that we shot. That's why there's so much judder on them.
Oh, yes.
And you get a lot of much more greater feeling of movement because it's natural. That is what you actually see. And we used John Brown or myself to do the live action inserts. So we had a full costume made, full gloves, full everything. So this whole sequence could be replicated in live action, miniature, and then when we get into the editing rooms, we can decide whether we want to use the live action, or whether we want to use the puppet, or whether we want to overlap one sequence with the other. But the whole thing is choreographed originally on a storyboard because there's so many elements to it that I had to get my part correct, Derek has to get his part correct, and it all has to end up looking like one piece
smooth
film.
Yes. But David, your experience as an editor, I think, was invaluable to you when you started to direct. I mean, some of the best directors have been editors, i.e. David Lean, for example.
Yes, it
an understanding,
insight into why a shot is composed, why you have to make certain angles match,
and the problems when you don't.
And a lot of that tutorial came from Gerry and There's Your House. From Gerry and everybody else.
Is that actually Portugal? That's probably Albufeira.
5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
There we go. Now we're going to destroy half the planet.
Oh, here we go.
Now.
But we saved the crew.
That's all right then.
And Derek copied the architecture of Portugal throughout here.
Yes.
We had to put in the token house with no roof so that this was a building site under construction.
Yes,
so
which is
really
rather typical of Spain and Portugal. Yes, absolutely. And David,
Wow.
Derek was having a wonderful time here, wasn't he?
Just to come out of these looking as black as black. Excellent shot of it landing in the sea here. Big water.
Okay, birds.
Great volume.
Is that Portugal in the background?
It certainly is.
That's testing.
Are you okay?
Thunderbird 2 from 0X escape unit. Yes, we are okay. Paul only just made it. He's badly shaken up. But he's going to be all right.
It looks all right to me, David.
Yes, indeed.
Did you hear that, Central Control?
We heard. Well done.
Virgil from Gordon. We can't retrieve Alan.
Gordon looks very windblown, but that's fine.
We'd better drop him to the ground.
FAV, Gordon.
Say, Virgil, I think that's Fab 1 below.
It is indeed.
And how did we ship that there in just in the nick of time?
I'm afraid we've got another hairstyle here, David.
Yeah, Penelope, I can see you.
Say, how did you get here?
As soon as we heard the forecast crash position, we made our way here.
By sea and air.
Quite.
It's lovely, isn't it? Just.
Now, what size model would that for that
would be
particular
the large
shot
size,
be? That's the large
puppet size, and
Yes.
that would be.
Yes.
I don't know. Probably somebody can tell better than me, but I would have thought it would be something like about 8 foot.
I was going to say
7 to
about
8
that.
foot.
Yes.
Something in that region. It's certainly a beautiful piece of work. But we had to have removable canopies so that we could get the wires through for Penelope and Parker. But then we had half canopies so that you weren't aware that what was above them was missing.
Was missing.
That, Parker, is quite correct.
He looks a bit mesmerised there, doesn't he? I think he's still recovering from his hazardous
adventure.
Journey down to Earth. Yes.
Gee, you mean you're going to take me to the Swinging Star? Just the two of us?
Just the two of us.
It's like a dream come true.
Here it is. The earthly version.
Yes. Should definitely have had Cliff Richards and the Shadows playing
Absolutely.
here.
Gee.
She looks rather stunning there, doesn't she?
She does indeed.
You know, Penelope, I'm always treated like a kid.
Because in real life, we were preparing for the premiere.
Yes.
I feel like a real grown man.
Which was a very glittering affair. Absolutely wonderful.
Particularly with that snazzy moustache you're wearing. It adds years to you, Alan.
Well, you see, we have to wear a disguise sometimes when we're out in public, in case we're recognized. Do you really think it suits me?
Oh, excuse me, Alan. I think the gentleman on the next table wants something.
Would you mind passing that ashtray?
He looks good with a beard, don't you
Yes,
think?
he does.
Pretty good, eh?
Very handsome.
Why, Dad, what are you doing here?
I always felt this sequence needed a little bit of music just to help it along.
Yes.
It just,
Me too, Alan.
Yeah, a little bit dead.
it's just a little bit dead, and the puppets aren't capable of carrying emotion to this extent. I just think the music, a little bit of music would have helped.
Well, it proves the point that we've made in his brains without his glasses.
You can't see a thing.
He's totally, yeah.
Pretty much like me.
But I think it proves the point that we were saying earlier, that the puppets needed...
They needed help.
Help more than an actor. Actors could sustain this particular scene. But
you're relying totally on the voices, and the voices sometimes have too long a gaps with no emotion to the face.
Exactly.
But the music can fill in that emotion.
Yes.
The hero of the day.
To Alan.
This was interesting. We shot this at an army barracks, I think, in Kent somewhere.
Wonderful.
And I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive down there, and we had to shoot the whole thing in the morning. And so we had to get down very early to get the cherry picker. We had this huge, great crane so that we could get up in the air high enough to read the end. So we had to put out tapes on the parade square so that we could form all of the people, all of the band up into the end, wording the end. But the gentleman who was conducting, whose name escapes me, he would insist on being actually on the back of the cherry picker, on the crane itself. So every time he started conducting, we started rocking with the camera, and the camera was beginning to rock more and more as he got more and more excited with the Thunderbirds music, until we thought we were going to come off the crane. So I had to ask him if he would be good enough to do the conducting from the floor and on the ground rather than on the crane.
I love these end credits, don't you? These COD credits of astronauts and so on.
Yes.
And of course they actually performed at the premiere, and it was such a thrilling moment. They came out on the stage.
A terrific band.
It was just
they
wonderful.
Were just unbelievable.
Wonderful. It was a fantastic event. David, I think that was F-A-B.